What's up, people? PaceBreaker here, and welcome to the second attempt at the first of a series of audio streams that I will be doing from here on out. This is going to be some of the main content for the channel, both on Twitch and on YouTube. So let's get into it. So what I'm using is a digital audio workstation audio software called Studio One. It's made by Personas. There is a free version of it called Studio One Prime. All you have to do is just register on their site in order to be able to download it and use it. If you don't feel comfortable with that, you can always try something like you can always use something like let's see, oh crap, I can't remember it now, which is a shame because I should. It's a very basic software and I can't remember what it's called. Okay, but anyway, we're wasting time. So I might as well get into some background while I'm also doing some basic steps here. So what we'll do is we'll create a new song or project or session, even though I'm just going to load one up. So then we'll call this one audio session 1. I'm not going to bother with any excuse me, any of these little preset things here. It's still going to be at a 120 BPM tempo. The resolution, sample rate, all that, we're going to keep it default, which you can also change in your setup, and it's going to be in 4/4 time. So bam, that's how you create a session. We're not really going to go into that because we already have a session set up, but I suppose I could actually get into this and show you guys exactly how we do all of this, because this is going to end up with a completely different look to it. Now, I probably should also I probably should have put out a tweet or whatever for this, but it's not too right. I don't know, I just wanted to do this because I've already done it once, and the thing is, the volume for playback didn't go through, so that's why we're redoing this. And I'm also going to try and be a little bit more structured with it, so don't worry about all this right now. We're going to remake all of this. So how we're going to do that, we're going to go up here to track and we're going to click add tracks. Why not just add instrument or audio or whatever? Because, well, I want to be able to select a range. I want to be able to do multiple at once. Now, I have a custom setup here. You can import presets from, like, I think Pro Tools, Logic, FL Studio, I think. So you can actually have it not just run the default way right out the box. It can be whatever you want it to be. So what we're doing is we're adding instrument tracks because we're going to be working with virtual instruments for the majority of this stuff. I don't have horns, I don't have strings, so we're going to be doing all of this in a virtual environment. So let's see, my estimate should be right. So then we'll do that, 13 of those. We'll leave all that by default. Input we're going to leave at default, and then we're going to create off of a new instrument, and we're going to select none, and then we're just going to, actually I think I need to make sure that ascending is off, because then it's going to do something stupid. And there we go. Now all of these are in order. So we're going to then start naming our tracks. You definitely want to name your tracks, especially if you're going to be doing audio files instead, because what happens is once you start recording, it's going to have whatever this is named. So if it's track 1, you're going to have a whole bunch of stuff that's called track 1, and let's say you have a 12 song album. Now then when you start going through, and you're going to have your little snippets of this track 1 and then the other 11 track 1s, and that's just going to be confusing when you're trying to go through your files and, okay, is this the take I want? Is this the one that goes with that? yeah, this is why it's a good idea to keep everything organized. So we're going to go in and we're going to start naming things. And we are not, oh, put that back up. I hit the wrong key. Pull Studio 1 back up. Okay, and we're shuffling through menus. That's not what we're supposed to be doing. But yeah, we're doing drums for the first session. Even though drums are some of the more detailed things to track or record, mic up, and get all the settings down, because a drum kit is a very, very intricate setup. And you know, if you don't have the mics angled just right or at the right distance, then you're not going to get like the best sound that you want. And it's kind of annoying. And then you have to go back and get the drummer back, and you know, if you didn't have the kit, you know, and all that, and it's unpleasant, because it takes so much time to get everything set up, and then to have to go back and do it again. That's time and money. So we're just going in here and we're naming all of these. I believe technically I'm only going to need 10 tracks, but I'm doing this the exact same way that I do actual drums. So we're going to be doing kick in, kick out, snare top, snare bottom, the 3 cymbals, hi-hat, ride, crash, 3 times low, mid, high. Then we're going into overheads left, overhead right, and that's basically it. But because I'm doing it in MIDI, which is like, you know how you have a player piano and it has like the little thing with like the dots on it and stuff, and as it rolls through it, it reads it, and it gives the player piano a set of instructions on what to do, what to play. That's what it's like. So yeah, so that's how we're working with this. So the 13th track here is going to be for the entire line of drums. I could do each drum piece individually, but nah. It's easier for me and a lot more consistent to just do this all here as one thing. In fact, we're actually going to move this up top, and now this will be our clothesline, where we'll hang all of the notes that are going to go into this on here. So the other thing that we're about to do is we're about to add our virtual instrument. The reason why, I should probably also explain this setup here. Not only am I doing like the individual pieces, but then like I said, I'm doing like the whole drum track here. It's something that I like to call component drums and composite drums. You know how you have like component cables and composite cables before we went over to HDMI? So then component being the individual parts, with composite being the whole. So the reason why I have these are for a greater degree of control, so that then I can edit these as I need or mix them however I want. If I want to roll off some highs on like my snare, or I want to put a compressor on my kick drum in order to make it more punchy without affecting the rest of this stuff, I'm not going to do it up here. I don't know why I'm pointing with my hand when you guys can't see, but I'll do it with the mouse. So I'm not going to do it up here, because then that's going to affect every single individual part that's in the performance. Instead, we're going to do those changes in the individual bits. Now, why do I have this along with them? Not just so I can then copy all of that and then start deleting, you know, scooping out the notes I'm not going to use per section, but it's also so I can create a blend. So then I'll have like a general drum pattern, general version of it with no real big effects on it. And then in order to sweeten it, if you will. Then you'll have like the extra kick that'll then do whatever. So this will be turned down in the mix. This will be brought down to a lower volume while all of these sit up, and this will kind of boost them, kind of reinforce them. So yeah, that's enough going on about that. Then it's time to actually start adding some things in. I could have actually talked about it while we were doing that. Let's see, view. I could just use hotkeys, but I also want to show you guys how this is going. And yeah, it's been a long time since I even had Studio One Prime on my MacBook, and my MacBook only has like 4 gigs of RAM by default. So yeah, and I've been using it as a personal computer. It does not have the doesn't have the oomph needed to run something like this now. So what we're doing is we're going to instruments, because we have all sorts of virtual instruments here. This is going to be our drum machine. So if we were doing something like hip hop, then I'd end up using something like this probably, or a mix of the two. But we're not touching Impact this session. Instead, we're going to be working with the default audio, the default virtual instrument plugin. So this is called Presence. We're going to be dragging it here. And yeah, replace that. I just put that over there so you guys could see it. I do appreciate that they have really, these are all going to be the same instance, aren't they? That's nice. I appreciate they at least kept everything that I loaded in last time. But yeah, we're going to do all of this from scratch, so that's going to suck, but it's going to be tedious, but it'll give us a proper structure, workflow, and everything. You can see how we're doing this. Because yeah, I could just go in and have everything already loaded and stuff. We'll do that for the next sessions. Right now, I want everything to be just us getting set up. And since I'm basically learning this, it's like driving an automatic transmission and then moving over to a standard shift. So now, oh, okay, now we got a different kind of, it's still a car, but it's a different kind of car. I mean, like under the hood, it's the same thing except the transmission. So we're just gonna, I would love to be able to just group all of that, just grab and then just send like multiple instances of it. So then I can save myself some time, because I'm about to do something very, very dumb, and it's gonna suck because it's gonna take a minute. But that's how you do. So the reason why I'm doing this multiple times is something that I found out during the first stream that I tried. I had everything on just one of these, because as I drag it over, as you can see, it's starting to say presence 2, 3, 4, and continuing on, because it's adding a new version of it every time. You can even see it in the tabs here, because, well, you'll want those individual bits, especially once you start messing with things. I mean, for what I'm going to do here, because me trying to like fiddle with this is going to end up, if everything was just using this first one and I go into this, which is going to show me all of my little details here and there, where I can, if you would be nice, allow me to like get in here, and yeah, here's the section. I'm looking at the channel strip wrong. So here's where my volume is, here's where my pan is, mute, solo, record, preview, inserts and sends, so yeah. We're going to get into all that other stuff as we go on, but for now we're just trying to get the basics out of the way. So yeah, if all of this was on just the one and I moved this over here to pan, it would do it for every single one of these. So we're going to have them separate so we can do what we're doing. Now with like trying to get everything to defaults and everything with how I have it set with Pro Tools, because that's what I was trained in, it's option click, but for Windows that would be the control key. So then hit control and then click, and then it'll snap to default for stuff like that, for like panning and volume. The reason why you want panning and volume is to create space and depth within your song as you're building it. So I am kind of going to go into this like as if someone does not know any of this kind of stuff. For those of you who do know, that's awesome, and I'm glad that you're here with me. But I am kind of going to try and do this bit by bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to go get a standard kit, and we're going to be using that. We'll get into these things, these knobs and graph things in a bit, but for right now we're going to get all this set up. So I would actually like to copy the stuff for that. Can I just copy and paste, or would it like do it different? Because if I can like copy and paste that, I think we're actually doing this and it's not going to be like a completely different, I mean, like it's not going to, right. Another thing that I need to be doing right now is naming these, because I actually can rename the instance so it doesn't just say presence 1 2 3 4 all that crap, because otherwise that's going to get real confusing. It makes it easier to just have everything labeled. So just like you label your tracks, label these, and I immediately forgot how to do that, which is a shame because I was just doing it. Rename. So this will be called, the very first one will just be called drums, because that's by default. So if I copy and paste, well, and it looks like it did, which is unfortunate because we didn't want it to do that. Let's see, because I want to make sure that no, I'm not messing up things. So we pan here and then we click on another song, another part of our things, then it won't. Okay, so it's just copying the name. Good. It was what I was just saying a little while ago. You start messing with this stuff and then you go and click on other stuff, and then it has the exact same identical stuff. So yeah, we don't want any of that for this session, because I want to show you exactly what it is that we're doing here. So that's good, I appreciate that. So we're just going to copy and paste and adjust as we move, because that's a hell of a lot easier than trying to do all this. This is kind of going to be a tutorial, but I am going to end up cussing. So yeah, little ones do not no they do not need to be watching this. I'm pretty sure there's some more clean tutorials and videos that do kind of go into describing things and not being crass. And I put like several instances, didn't I? Yeah, we didn't really need that. So what we'll do is go back. Yeah, because I'm already throwing myself off. The second one can be shared between these. This can be shared. This can be well, and then these are all going to be their own individuals. I've already messed up. Okay. See, this is why. See, we're basically getting all the guesswork out of the way now. This way we can really get down to brass tacks. So I suppose while I'm doing all this renaming and everything, I can explain just why it is that we're doing what we're doing. Because we are, yeah, that's dumb. So yeah, the background for this, yeah, gaming is cool and all, but it ain't me. It's not my heart. It's not where I am with all that. I mean, like, I wanted to mess with sound and post-production and all that, so I figured, you know what, we're just gonna go ahead and get in here, and we're going to and we're just gonna mess with things. Like, audio is what I want to do, so why not? I wanted to create a fan album for the for one of the games I tend to play a lot, Warframe. And it just so happened that they happen to do this contest where you have where they do streams, like community streams on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And during that time they also have like background music and stuff. That background music is created by the community. It just so happens that was right when I was coming up with the concept behind the album in the first place. So basically, each of the Warframes, each of the suits or characters, if you will, has a specific theme. Like there's one that controls fire, one that controls ice, one that controls water, one that's a swordsman, one that's your typical ninja. So each of them was going to get like a 1 or 2 minute track that was going to be dedicated just to them. And I wanted to kind of go with that and build off of that. And okay, for what it's worth, these are probably going to keep that same one, so we'll just go ahead and remove this. We don't need to have these. So yeah, I figured, okay, fine, that's how you guys are doing. Then we'll go in kick, snare, hi-hat, ride, crash, low, mid, high. Yeah, about 9 parts. I don't think there's anything else. If I want to do any side stick, then we'll like probably create a separate track for that, but these are going to still use the same, and all this will all be one. And since this is going to be like a different kind of thing, then we'll do this, that, and the other. Good. So now that we have all of that set up, what we're going to do is we're going to go over to our files and we're going to insert some things. So you know what, I was going to get like a thing from another thing, but you know what, for what it's worth, we'll go ahead and use a MIDI track that someone else composed. So let's see, I don't even know like which one do I use. You know what, we use Linkin Park's Paper Cut. Man, it's gonna be stupid. You want a little general MIDI for this? Yeah. Files broken, cannot be opened. Fine. I don't know. This is kind of annoying as shit because I think I actually do need to. I can't remember for the life of me. But yeah. But I figured when it came to this, let me go and just do all of this as like one big thing. Then like just I'll turn it into a stream. I'll show what it is that I'm doing. We'll make an event out of it. Yeah, I can't even figure out a track to actually go with. Let's see, if I run it here, will it do it? Yeah. And then it'll just go in here and get all that. So let's see, Rob is the drummer for Linkin Park, so let's see, we'll copy all of that and hope to God that it works. Oh damn it, I keep forgetting it doesn't do it the way I think it does. So this is in a separate window, but it's a separate session. You can easily just click close and then it'll like close that one, or if you want to close every single one that you have open, click close all. So we'll just close this, that's all we want, and we'll go up here and we will paste. Okay, now under normal circumstances, like if it was say MIDI samples like I was about to do from the beginning, okay, so then this is where you pull up all of the files on your computer. For me, I have a specific folder for MIDI, both stuff that I've made, stuff that that's already made as like samples, and things that other people have composed and put up on sites. So there is a site called Groove Monkey, which you can see right here. They have free general MIDI drum stuff that you can download. It's completely free. It's legit and then it covers a wide variety of genres. For me, I don't just want to just have that and then just boom, just drag and drop it into a track, because then it's going to. I kind of want to modify it a bit, make it into something else. This way, oh okay, now it's are these? Yeah. This way, it ends up sounding a little bit original. Sounds like me instead. Let's see. So then what we'll do is we'll just pop this here. So that's under normal circumstances. You're just going to copy and drag and drop. But I'll cover the other way that we get into it once we're done with this. That's besides the point. So we're going to zoom in a bit. My Pro Tools hotkeys are sub, so like R will shrink, T will stretch out so you can see it more. There's another thing to allow you to, see, it's right here. This also allows you to do it like that. But there's also a way to make these taller so you can see them better. But then there's another thing that you can do. You can click on this, like right around the bottom portion of it. Because you click on it, then it's going to like segment it and stuff by default. So let's get into a little bit of detail. So this is the track list, like what you saw me messing with earlier, and it's showing like every single one of those. You can click on that and it'll switch to those. This is showing what track it is. So there's an instrument, it's on solo right now, meaning nothing else will play. Audition notes, that means you click on this piano roll, you click on any of the keys, and it actually previews the notes. This way you can tell what it is that you're messing with. You can adjust the velocity, which is how hard or soft, say on a drum kit, how hard or soft you will hit that particular drum head or cymbal. So this bar being up means that it's being hit as hard as it can. Anything low means that it's being hit softly. You can't really tell with just a mouse click. I do have a MIDI keyboard that I can hook up and do all that kind of stuff with. There's other details about it too, but the basic thing that we're going over is velocity. Because if you have everything at the default velocity, which you can see right here, that 80%, then everything is going to have the same level of impact. So it's going to just sound a little monotone. Well, I wouldn't say monotone. It's going to sound dull. It's going to sound a bit robotic. So adjusting the velocities makes it sound more human, like a person's actually playing this stuff. So we're going to hit play so you guys can actually hear the thing that we just dragged in. That is not play. And we're going to play that again. That's that. So that's also the test of whatever the hell it was that I did in the first place. Will these play if I did all of my proper setup? It's kind of like actually hooking things into an audio interface, and then you got all these cables that you're connecting and all that, and it looks complicated, but if you do it right, then you know you did it right. It's kind of like building a computer, which is the whole reason why I haven't done any of this until I actually got this monolith made. For those of you that follow me on social media, I've shown pictures of it. I even have a video of the pics of step-by-step building this beautiful thing, and now that we got it, we can actually use it. Okay, now let's see, where is, alright, I need to pull up the dashboard. I was not paying attention. I just went straight to work. Okay, let's see. Where is... So I want to make sure I can at least see chat. If there even is chat. Yeah, I don't know. Usually I don't have that many people watching, but that'll change soon, I'm sure, if we keep this up. So, that's that. Good. We're not really even going to worry about the overheads. Like, that's besides the point. So, we'll just delete that track. Well, and then we'll close this since we don't need to. Now, let's get into the other method. How in the world do you actually do anything? Because this is blank. Now, the previous stream I actually went into detail about like why I picked Studio One, because I started with Pro Tools. That's what they trained me in. But it's a resource hog and my MacBook couldn't take it. And now I've got this thing, and now honestly this software just feels better for me. Even though one of the downsides that some people will say is it's kind of bare at first. Like, you have to build your own setup here. So then I'll have this, and then if I want like a mix window up here too, then I can boom, or like the thing that we had here, you know, and then we can do all this kind of crazy shit, and I can have it just lined up just the way I want. So it's like way more customizable than how Pro Tools is. Pro Tools has multiple ways of doing things. So then you can put like this here, you can put, so if you wanted to like fade on something, then you could do this and that. You could do like 3 different ways of doing a fade or something. Whereas, you know, when it comes to like the windows and stuff, like the screens, that's not really as customizable. So let's just go into a little bit of that. Now let's get off of that. Let's get to what I was just talking about. How in the world do you do this then? Because as you can see, like if you look at anybody else's videos, they'll have like a bar or whatever, and it looks like this, you know, and then they're like different colors and all that, and there's stuff in there like for MIDI, and then there's like all these weird little jagged lines and stuff, and that's audio. But we don't have any of that. This is blank. So how do we do that? That's where this comes in. This is the pen tool. Also, you click down here in the drop down, then you get to see. Yeah. So then here in the pen tool, we can click and we can drag and we can make a range. Or we can just click and then boom. And then we can move over to the selector, which is the arrow, and then you can grab that. In fact, I can zoom in and place this way too damn far, and then we can click and drag either way. Well, not either way like that. I mean, you have to grab the appropriate end and extend it, however, or you can click on and then move it over here and then start to drag it. So stuff like that. So then how do you write notes then if you're going to do composing? That's where the pen tool comes in, I think. Crap. I am an idiot. Do not listen to that. That's where the pen tool. That's where the pen tool in another part of the song comes in. So remember that thing that I was talking about? This? Yeah. Then if you look, you'll see that they have these again. Click on the pen tool, and then click. In fact, you can zoom in here too, so you can see the grid better. And then we're gonna hit solo. Go here. And there you go. So, also something else I didn't get into is the scale, which you can set. You can set your key. You can also even set it so that it locks out anything that isn't a part of the, a part of the scale, like right here, and then boom, then it'll also light up what is a part of a scale. So, well, chromatic, let's say major minor, or well, melodic minor, you know, and then it cuts off some of these notes that you won't be able to play. So we're just gonna disable that. So yeah, stuff like that. You can choose what kind of note that you're going to use: whole note, half note, quarter note, eighth note, 16th, 32nd, or 64th note. This is, well, because I don't remember if it actually has a proper notation view. Pro Tools does, but that's besides the point. I'm used to composing in piano roll because I got started with Anvil Studio. So I should go into detail about this piano roll in General MIDI. There's an actual setup for drums in General MIDI. I had a thing for it, and I don't now. Hang on, I will pull up a. I'll pull up a thing for it. I'll pull up a graphic. General MIDI and drum piano roll. So let's see, where is because there's a thing for it that shows what it actually looks like or how it is. I made a graphic for it and I didn't import it. Well, I didn't copy it over to the computer, but there's a thing that actually, like, each note corresponds to a specific, well, each key corresponds to a specific note. In fact, I can just play it for you. That's your kick, that's your snare, yeah, so stuff like that. If you don't know what that is, I don't remember if you can actually bring it over where they end up being labeled. I know. Oh, I'm stupid, because that's what this is right here. See, this is the piano icon. This is the drum version of it, so you can actually see which is what. So then you can be able to see all of this a little smoother, a little easier. I believe you can actually label these so you can see what it is that you're doing. Yeah, there we go, GM drum. Excuse me, I forgot, I actually was messing with this. Like I said, it's been a minute. I'm sorry. So, good lord, let's see if we can, like, turn some of this stuff off so we can, yeah, there we go. Like I said, you can customize this. So as you can see, I really wish I could zoom in a little bit more so you guys can see what it, because if I click on this is going to, like, start adding and stuff, isn't it? But yeah, so now you can see this is acoustic bass, side stick, acoustic snare, hand clap, electric snare, low floor tom, closed hi-hat, high floor tom, pedal hi-hat, and it lists the entire thing. That's what General MIDI is, or, well, at least the General MIDI drum section. And then you can even set it, like, if you're not familiar with the layout and what notes are what, then it'll show you, and then you can just click them as needed in order to do whatever. So for this, we're just gonna, and then we'll hit delete, and we'll jump back to the beginning, and then we're gonna do a little bass, and then we're gonna hit some snare here, and then yeah. And then this all does fall into a grid, and I should probably explain that grid as well. Okay, so you know when you turn on metronome, in fact I can do that right now, and just okay, so you hear those 4 clicks, and like there's like a little accent on one, so then that corresponds to these points here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Each of these little points is a beat, and then like each whole number here, 1, 2, 3, that indicates a bar. And that's what what you end up hearing when you hear rappers talking about bars. Like, all right, so here you go, spit 8, and then they go on for 8 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so you're mentally keeping count, or physically keeping count with like hand claps or snaps or foot taps. How many is what? Although also, if you're kind of more mathematically inclined, then it takes 4 beats to equal a bar in 4/4 time, and then so then 8 bars times 4 is 32 beats. So yeah, so that's 42 foot taps. 32. Sorry. So something like that. I mean, we're not trying to get into like music theory or anything, but it does help when you're coming up with things, because you can also create markers here to note when the intro is, first verse, like pre-chorus, chorus, bridge, all of that, and then you can use little shortcuts to jump to that, and that's when you can, and then you can start adjusting slices of this as you make them or whatever. So that's enough messing with that. Let's actually get into this. So and it is not clicking to, it is not showing the things. There we go, because that's a bit out of the way. This is from what was it, A Place in My Head? Yeah, so there's the intro. Yeah. So then there's like, that's why there's that silence leading into it. And the reason why you keep hearing that that's the metronome. So we're gonna turn that off. Now, normally when you're recording, when you're drumming or playing another instrument or whatever, that metronome is there to help keep you in time. If you did not know that, that's why I'm explaining it. For those of you who did know, well, yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah. Now, since I tend to work in this, and like I said, it's in a grid, and so it's always set up, everything, I don't need to do quantizing because it's already aligned to the grid, because I'm clicking in most of this. I mean, I probably still should, but yeah. So you can see stuff like modulation, pitch bend, aftertouch, master gain, program change. This other stuff that is not really being used. You could, but it's not necessary. Not really. It's not what we're doing stuff. Like pitch bend is, how when somebody bends the note on a guitar, like they bend the string, and it's got that kind of. Hey, sometimes sounds is the best way to get it through. Yeah, when you hit, yeah, that's a pitch bend. That's bending the note. Yeah, so you can do that, like keyboards, MIDI keyboards and such. They have a wheel that you can use for that. They also have it for like modulation and stuff, or whatever. So that then you can kind of go down a step or two or whatever. Steps are like these, the notes on the keyboard. So then like that's a step, and then from one to the next. So well, not that's not a step, that's getting into like the math behind the scale and shit. So yeah, and no, like 3 months of music theory was not enough. So yeah, if you're interested in music theory, there's plenty of videos and resources for that. There was someone who I was watching to study music theory, and I can't remember the name of his channel right now. I don't know, but I will create like a little log of sorts for like all of the resources that I use. But hey, you find who you like and you follow them. if they teach in a way that works for you and makes it easier for you to understand, go with them. As for me, I'm not really the tutor sort. I try, but that's besides the point. What we're doing is, well, I'm just messing around, relearning a program or learning some of the more finer points. Except, well, not this session. This session, we're kind of just getting a feel for it again because it's been so long since I played and messed with the program. So, back to the song. Yeah, we'll actually make our own song eventually, but for this one, we're just fiddling around. Let's see. So now we're looking at this because I was like, oh right, this is the thing that we didn't do. So now we're in here and we're messing with this. What is this? So this is called amp in, and this is basically the envelope. The range with which this thing starts getting messed with. This right here, I believe, is the compressor because it has the same indicators on it: attack, decay, sustain, release. These are factors that fit into. Hang on, we're going to turn off the thing over there on the side because that's probably distracting for some people. Also a little distracting for me, but I'm fine. I just prefer to have more space to work with. So we'll just throw this over here. In fact, let me check OBS and see if you guys can even see what the hell it is I'm doing. I don't think that you can. Well then, yeah. That's not good. Because, shit, I remember I went like 10 minutes explaining this thing and you guys can't even see it. Is there, what is this? It's not telling me what this is. I think that there's a way to pin, but I don't think that the pin shows up on the, yeah, so like I said, and then it's also like my first time really doing a stream through OBS as well. So now we got to go in here and we got to create a new scene and all that junk. Let's see, so we'll try and add another window capture. So then we're going to create a new one. And then we're going to, let's see, general MIDI, dashboard, Twitch, drums, lock screen, audio stream, drums. There it is. Okay. Alright, so this is the thing I was talking about. So now we got it here. What we ought to do is move it here so you guys can see a bit better. Yeah, there we go. Much better. So, yeah, this is what I was talking about: attack, decay, sustain, release. So we're going to head back to the beginning of this. I'm going to explain these as in my own words. I'm going to kind of paraphrase and stuff because this isn't going to be textbook. I should have had all this ready for you guys at the beginning, but oh well. I'm going to try and make this as basic as I can. Attack is when the note or sound starts and gets picked up by the compressor. Think of it as like a dot, then an arrow, then a box, and then an arrow, and then a speaker. I know, that was like, what? Think of it like a path. Like, say, from... Can you even see that? Do I have the... Yeah, you can see it. Like, say, this 9 all the way over to, like, here. Like, so then it goes in, and then it gets processed, and then it comes out. So this is like the source where it's coming from, and then as it goes in. So then like this line right here, let's say for diagram purposes, then this is it going in, and then this is the first thing that the compressor hears, and then it starts affecting it, and then it comes out right here, and now it's different. So this is kind of like a filter or like a strainer. So then when you start adjusting the attack, you're determining how fast the compressor responds to each individual note. So having it down like this means that it has a fast attack. Increasing this also increases the number of milliseconds or seconds that the compressor is responding to. See how it catches it later? And so you don't get the initial hit. That's what I'm talking about, like when it first hits it. Or if you adjust this thing, then it'll get the later part of it. Trying to remember decay specifically. Sustain is, I'm going to jump a little bit, but sustain is how long that note is held within the envelope. Release is how soon it cuts off. I believe decay is like the after attack. So alright, the attack happened, bam, and then this is the cutoff. So now it's starting to fall off, and then sustain is like kind of going along with that, followed by the release. So think of it kind of like how you see this right now, how it trails off. That's probably the perfect example of what the fuck I'm talking about. In fact, I think, what, can you see the, yeah, so now that I'm starting to mess with this, it's going to sound different. In fact, let's turn this all up. Yeah, I believe sustain is how long the compressor holds it. And then of course release being, yeah, like I said, how soon or later the compressor will release. See? So you hear all that? Yeah. We gotta cut that off because it's like, what the fuck is you doing? See how the envelope is a square now? And then it just drops drastically, and so the dynamics of the thing fall off. Why are we messing with this? Because this can help shape how your drums are going to sound, or anything really, because it's a compressor. Granted, this is within the virtual instrument itself, so think of it as like before you start recording. The one of the things that I compared it to is a guitar player, a guitarist, creating their tone. So then they'll have like low, mid, high, on their amp, and they're starting to like tweak with things, as well as like their EQ and compressor pedals on their pedal board and all that. So they're messing with things before it actually goes into the software or whatever, or just the board at a venue. So then in essence, like, it's them like messing with their own stuff, and then the engineers go on and do their thing and help to make it sound even better. That's just for their own stuff to be cleaned up. So that's what we're messing with here. So we kind of want some release, but not all release, because then you get that massive like pile up of ring, which is what we don't want. for me, that's fine. That's where I want it. Then there's this other thing here that's kind of like a more detailed version of it. So then you can start messing with other factors. I don't remember what they're called though. I don't remember what this one is. I can highlight it and it'll tell me, but yeah. Oh, and then also this, like, yeah, because there's all these different sections that can show you stuff and tell you stuff. And then this is the same as this. It's just, you know, it's in the program. Oh, I was talking about bend, and you can see it right here. So you can, if you have like a thing, like say if I could play with my computer's keyboard and then just hold this, because then you can kind of bend the note because it won't stay. Mod, yeah, that's the modulation, like I was saying. So let's see. Yeah, but I leave this at like the default setting. Because I don't really feel like messing with that. But yeah, so then you can get in here and you can activate the filter by clicking on filter, and then it'll allow you to start messing with things. So then you can bump the velocity, bring the velocity down, increase the drive, increase the punch, increase the res. In fact, we'll start messing with that right now. So it's cranking it and making it. If you want the perfect example of something, or to hear just how exaggerated it can be, turn it all the way up. Except, remember what I was saying earlier about everything being affected by that. So if you wanted, say, your snare to be punchy, but not your cymbals, then you wouldn't do that on this. Instead, you do it on the snare track, so that all of your snare parts are going to be done. Wait, what do you mean by that? What I mean by that is, hang on, we're going to switch back scenes. We're going to go here. Oh crap. I need to move this under. Alright, there we go. So what I mean is, we're messing with this. So what yeah, so we're just going to unsolo this, and then we're going to, yeah, so the way that I copy with my custom stuff is, because you can drag and drop, you know, you can copy it. So we're going to go here, delete these, get deleted. Same goes for you, get deleted. Because you're in the way. You're going to create issues later. Stop that. Okay, and then we're going to get down here, and then we're just going to, we don't even need to mute that, but we're going to mute it for posterity. So then we're going to get in here, and remember what I said before about clicking this and then bringing up the general MIDI? Yeah, this way now it lists everything so you can get an idea of what it is that we're messing with. Please tell me that we're on kick. Okay, good. So then we're going to go over here to the selector tool, and then we're going to select all of this, and then we're going to delete all of this. We're just going to hit the delete key, and that'll get rid of all of those. Then we're going to go down to the snare track, and we're going to do the exact same thing to it. Well, not the exact same thing. Like I said, in order to make it easier for you to see, we're going to go here, make sure that everybody can see what the hell I'm doing, because that was another thing that I didn't take into account. So now I have to go in every time I open up a new window that isn't one of those, so that then boom, now we have like all of our things here. Okay, that's fine, that's fine. So we're going to go in here and we're going to scoop out everything that isn't the snare hits, then we're going to hit delete. Wait, why? Because I wanna. Don't you do it. And then boom. And this is basically how I do. So then I'll have the composite, and then I'll just copy that down into the individual tracks and delete everything that I don't need. So then there you go. Now all these are what they are. So then we're gonna go over to bar 17, or at least close to bar 17, and play it. In fact, you can even see right here in our timeline, this is what's doing what. Yeah, so there goes your your kick drum, your bass drum. Now we're going to do the same with the snare. Why do we have 2 kick tracks, 2 snare tracks? Because I want to copy how I work with drums. So hang on, we'll play this and then we'll get back to what I'm saying. Okay, and now as you can see, there's this red thing here. This is overload. This is clipping. Basically what I just said, overload. Things are so loud, it's going to cause distortion when you actually render everything down and put it out. So you want to limit things. You want to not overcrank things, or at least, like, if push comes to shove, put like a limiter on it, put a compressor, and start kind of dialing things down so that you're not overdoing things and making it harder to work with later. For example, say if your recording engineer didn't leave headroom, didn't leave space in things, like say then there's distortion on like the kick because the kick was recorded badly. That means that the mixing engineer has his work cut out for him, because, well, now he has to do something else. You know, now he has to fix that guy's mistakes. If not, send a memo back saying you need to redo the kick drum because this is shit, I can't work with it. So this is why it's a good idea to try and make sure that there's space. Try and make sure that there's room so you can do what you do. Now, the other reason why this ended up being overdone is because the fuck? Really? This wasn't on snare? Okay. But yeah, see, that would make more sense once I start messing with things, because I am going to start like messing with stuff here. Like, in fact, here we're going to get in here and then we're going to put on the filter and we're going to crank up the punch and crank up the drive some. Damn, okay, that sounds senseless. I don't know what. But yeah. But basically what happened with the overload is because there's a thing called amplitude. When you run the same note at the same time together, you know, like a duplicate, but you have not done anything different to it. You haven't put any kind of effects on it. You haven't done like an EQ to like scoop out highs, mids, lows, or whatever. You haven't put like a compressor or something like a phaser or chorus or reverb or anything. So then all you get is the same thing played at the exact same time. And what it does in the sound field is it doubles in volume. So you don't really want that. I mean, that's why they have like this volume bar here or other thing. In fact, yeah, then you can even like do stuff like that, and then you can like turn these things down so that then they don't mess with. Yeah, see, that's what I wanted. Except if I did want to split these, so that then the out is different. See, that was the other thing. But for basic stuff right now, we're not really worried about that. I can create another thing and make it do what I need it to do. But yeah, going back to that, in fact, yeah, why do I have two? Like, what's the point in me having two of these? Well, the reason why I have two is when you are watching someone play on a snare drum, like the main sound is going to come from the top of the drum head when they hit it, right? Okay, but the thing is that drum is it's a hollow thing. There's another head on the bottom of it, and so the vibration carries through the body of the thing, and then, well, you can also hear it on the bottom of it too. Why not just put it on the side? Because you're not getting the most direct sound possible. It's going to sound a bit more roomy. You're going to get more sound from the rest of the drum kit, the rest of the room, than you are from having it directly in between where the source of the sound is coming from and where it's coming out from. So having it on top and on bottom allows you to capture the initial strike as well as some of the after. Well, not some of the after, but there's different tones to it. So what you hear on the top of the drum or the front in the case of, well, like on the inside in the case of a kick drum, you know how it's like that big round thing and then there's like a small hole. Yeah, that's for a microphone to fit inside of. Now, and then that'll be like close to where the beater is, and then it'll be able to like pick up from there. Like, say for example, this is the drum, and then the arrow here is the mic. So then you can put it like right here and like get as close to it as possible and get a lot of it, but it might end up being way more powerful or a little too much low end. So you might want to back off instead of being like directly on top of it. Pull back some so that there's a little bit more space. And it doesn't sound like outside of a loud nightclub. Stuff like that. So that's why you have them like this. Although for some you might not even need that. But I'm going to duplicate the track and then I'm going to do something different to it. In fact, for for posterity's sake, to be clear, we'll do this then. So then we'll dupe this and I'll just let you guys hear what I'm talking about. I think I might have turned down way too much. Alright, we're gonna stop that. I am about to start messing with the instrument window again. So give me a second so I can pull that up. So we'll just boop, pop that up. Shoot, what I'll do is start like messing with how these are laid out so I can possibly just shrink that down and be able to fit both. But yeah, how long are we going? I don't know, like about an hour and a half to 2 hours. Let me see, we've been at it for an hour so far. Okay, not bad. We're doing well. So yeah, I'm going into like the initial stuff for drums so you guys can kind of get an idea of what it is that we're doing. So with this one, we have the drive and punch up. So we're going to turn the drive down to about an 8, and then we're going to play this back. pull the release back some. Yeah, we want that punchy. We want that to sound like, ugh. I mean, I suppose we can also pull out the resonance as well. There's that one. Now, here's this one, which I am going to turn the volume back up on. I mean, the other thing is I could also just switch kit presets, but that's not what we're going to do. We're going to like crank the decay up some. Yeah, and then we're going to like push the release a little bit more, pull the sustain back some, and then we're just going to see how it sounds different. And then of course if you wanted to if you want to kind of sort of cheat, you could just go in here and just like pick like another one. So let's see, percussive kit 1, and then we'll just like run that instead. Yeah, so because I'm going to actually put a compressor and equalizer on there, and we're going to adjust the sound and make it sound different. And now we're going to go in here and we're going to adjust it. See? And it's low, but it makes a difference. And just as I say that, to let it do what it does, it goes into the silent part of the thing, where the cymbals start kicking in and shit. We could also do it the other way. So put that there, go here, and then so and just listen to it on its own. And just a little bit might go a long way. Maybe that bottom, that kind of lower sound, I'm not just talking about softer in terms of volume, I mean just that fluff, or that oomph, that woof, that kind of, see, it's kind of hard to just describe something without using an onomatopoeia. But yeah, it like that bit right there, that just that like push pull kind of woof kind of sound might just be what this needs in order to get bumped up. Same goes for doing the snare parts. Like if we did the exact same thing with the snare. So I'm just going to copy this and do the exact same thing, or something similar. So then what we'll do is we'll just use the kick part on this part. I mean, wait, crap. The fact that these are all called Rob is also the thing that throws me off. See what I mean by label your stuff? Otherwise then it might throw you off, even though you're looking at the right channel, it'll say something else. So yeah, so we'll go snare here, and I've taken that into account with this now, so that now these are going to be called something else. So all the settings that I had on this are now going to apply on the other one, since I'm just using the one that's meant for kick in on snare top, and the one that's meant for kick out is being used on snare bottom, so they're going to sound different. Where we at? 17? And then yeah, I'm not saying anything because I'm messing with it. But you see what I mean by trying to like blend them? And that's why I'm also messing with like the volume knobs as well, because I don't want them to be at the same volume, because it does kind of mess with the blending. So you're trying to get like a mix between, okay, this is that and this is that. And honestly, when it comes down to audio mixing in the first place, it's not just putting a whole bunch of effects on things and all that. You are trying to get the flattest frequency responses you can get. What the hell am I talking about? If you use a frequency analyzer, you'll actually get to see like a spectrograph of oh crap, where's the thing for the things? Browser, track list, instrument effects. There should be a thing for tools and such. Analysis, level meter, phase meter, scope, spectrum meter. Yeah, so then you pull up like the spectrum meter. I think you guys can kind of see it on the screen at least. Yeah, so then that shows you the frequencies. So then like from the lows to the highs and such, you know, and that'll show you so then you're trying to make it as flat as possible. If something is turned up too much, then it's going to spike in the graph. So as you can kind of see here, like there's a lot of like low mids, I think, right here, while everything else is kind of around the same size. And so you want to kind of make sure that everything is even, or as close to even as possible, unless of course that is the intent of the track. And there you go. Except, you know, sometimes too much can be a bad thing. I feel like I've actually covered every damn thing that I needed to this time around. Just about. And I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm probably forgetting something. Then again, today is different than Tuesday. I actually went to sleep. I got to sleep for a decent amount of time. I got to eat before I streamed. You know, so my head is kind of in a better spot. Hell, I even went to the movies the other day and finally got to see Black Panther. So yeah, I'm kind of in a better headspace. You know, my mood is a bit elevated, and I mean, I wasn't really feeling up to streaming, but hell, we're here and we're doing it. So when it comes to the first Warframe track, because I am going to be trying to do these and release them in order, if not at least wait and do them in like chunks. So if anything, the first release, the first EP is going to be, I think, what was it, the original 9 Warframes? So yeah, and then so that'll be like volume 1, volume 2, and so on and so forth. So I'll start doing them in like packs, because there's like 34 of those things, and it's going to take a bit to actually do each of those. I mean, I could probably knock out a track in a week, probably less time than that if I really just devote to it. But since how I'm trying to do the streams is about 2 hours every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, I didn't want to get in the way of other streams or other streams that I watch. So some Call Me Johnny streams on Monday and Wednesday, and he's trying to figure out his Friday slot. Monday and Tuesday, like I said, are Warframes, like console streams. Xbox stream is Monday at 1. PS4 stream is Tuesdays at 4. These are Eastern time. And then their community stream that they do on Thursdays is, I believe, at 6 Central, 7 Eastern. So, yeah. So I'm trying to arrange everything so it's either before or after that stuff. So, we're done and I can kind of unwind and just watch all that stuff. I don't know, but I kind of also didn't want to tread on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, because Wednesday is also when I stream Warframe. I stream Warframe on Wednesdays and Saturdays, sometimes Sunday, it depends. So yeah, so I'm still trying to get a feel for how we're doing this. I mean, hell, I might end up doing like multiple streams in a day instead of just the one, or we could just go overtime. It's like, I don't know, but yeah, we're kind of just messing around with things now. I mean, shoot, I could do another thing too. I'm wondering. Okay, so that's that. Now, I want to know, like, what if I create a new thing for this instead? So add a new instrument, because I have new things that I did not have in the free version that I couldn't mess with before. Like, say, impact, which I don't think is showing up on the screen. Yeah, it is. It is. Okay, because it's the same window. Oh, beautiful. Nice. So, this is the drum machine. So, if you like see DJs or like composers or whatever, they've got like their little home studios that have something that has like a console, and it's got like pads and knobs and faders, sliders like this. Yeah. And then they can program it with like a sample, and then they can just kind of like tap these and do whatever. Yeah. So this is how I could also do hip hop tracks if I didn't want to use an actual drum kit patch. And we are not running through impact. Okay, so default, and then acoustic kit multi-layer. Yeah, because that's the thing. You can try and run something. You can try and click and do all that. But unless you actually set up where your source is, okay, this is my source. Where is it going into? And where is it coming out? Although, honestly, you don't have to worry about the output. The output is going to be auto. But, if you don't set up your signal path, then you're not going nowhere. Nothing's going to come out when you hit play. It's what one of my teachers said. It's all about where you coming from and where you going. So this ain't gonna give me nothing, because as you can see, it says default, but there's nothing to be ran through here. There's no sample pack to pick from. What is a sample pack? A sample pack, or samples, are a sample of music or an instrument. So say somebody hits like F1 on a piano, that's recorded, as cleanly as it can be, and then it's put into a library of notes, these samples that can then be played back once ran through the corresponding key, like as you can see here, and then it'll play like that particular snare or kick or whatever. So let's go to Crunkzilla here. And as you can see, now it's got like all these little weird wavy things. These are your this is audio. This is your sine wave, except this is what it looks like when it's actually doing something other than playing a single tone. So let's play it. Yeah, that's weird. So that's not the patch to run that through. So let's hear what it sounds like after the intro. Okay, it does sound kind of crunk. Let's see, Balkan lines. Okay, so it's got a more like kind of Eastern theme to it. Yeah. Okay, we might have to consider this for when we're doing some of the Warframe stuff. Astro Electroflux. Let me hear it. Yeah, so if you don't have like anything to run samples through, you know, to like play with samples and hear what they sound like, then you can go and find things. You can find free MIDI tracks or demos. Like I said, Groove Monkey. Go look up Groove Monkey. Go to their site. I think they're still active. I think they're still good. In fact, I'm going to take a look right now just to check and make sure. Make sure that their site is still up and running so you guys can check them out. Yeah, their site's still up. So yeah, it's Groove Monkey, GROOVEMONKEE.com, and it should take you straight to their homepage, and you'll be able to like check out their stuff, because they have like several free things that you can actually get. They also have some other things that you can buy from them. This is totally not sponsored. This is just me mentioning some of the stuff that they have, because, well, it helps. This way, there you go. Now you got some samples you can drag into your audio thing, your audio software, and play them and hear what they sound like when ran through other things like 60s a go-go. Let's hear this. Oh, sweet lord, that is 60s. Acoustic kit multi-layer. This was the one that I was gonna mess with. Okay, it sounds old school. And then of course you can start messing with these things. So what's H? Hold? Because I'm assuming this is attack, hold, and decay rather than sustain. Okay, that's the wrong key. Oops. Yeah, so then you can start messing with things and like do them different. You can program this to be however you want it to be. You can make it, you know, so then you can make it mono if you wanted to. You can make it stereo. I haven't actually messed with drum machines. It's not like I'm intimidated or scared of them or anything. It's just, it's something that I haven't used. It's something that I'm not used to. I think with Pro Tools there was a thing called, what was it, Boom, I think, and that was practically a drum machine. I mean, it didn't look like this, but it was a drum machine. It had, excuse me, it had like a dot matrix or whatever, and you could like click on those and adjust them. And it was kind of neat. It wasn't really what I'm used to, but it worked. Why haven't I like ran another song or anything? Because I'm kind of a stubborn jackass. I don't want to move anything. I don't want to do anything else. You actually not gonna let me start touching things because that's on mute, or are you just being like serious and not trying to let me do anything? That's not right, man. That's not right. Alright, so we still have some time, so I'm going to kind of go ahead and drag something else in, and we can kind of play with some other things. because I've got a lot of things to actually mess with now. So that's the other reason why I was doing this for a stream, because, well, yeah, I've got so many new toys to mess with now. It's amazing. Okay, so we're gonna go over here to high time. We'll load in sample 1, which I don't even know what the heck this is. What is this? We're also gonna go over to files, and then we're gonna go and get, like, let's see, Power Rock, intro, song 1, let's see, verse. We'll do like 2 of these, and yeah, the chorus. I can't see nothing. Yep. Because the other window is in the way. Move, you. Oh, we're gonna do this now, huh? What are you doing exactly? Everything's supposed to be snapping to a grid. There we go. We're gonna put this on solo. Make sure it's back to... Yeah, 'cause I'm like, what? Like, this don't make no sense. What? Yeah, I do not know what this one is. But I think I can, like, import something and then, like, kind of mess with it. I do need to, like, go through the, yeah, I think I do need to, like, go through, like, the manuals and stuff, or, like, go on Personas' site and see about this in particular, because it's something else. It does something, I'm sure. It's just not one of the things that I was made aware of. But yeah, like I said, we got other instruments that we can mess with. That's it. And then Presence has a whole lot more other stuff. Alright, and then we got My Time Mojito. Yeah, so let's go over here and put My Time on here, because I did kind of get to see what it could do, and it sounded pretty cool. Let's see. And then we'll just jump back and play this. So then if you wanted, you could even blend, and you could get like something from Impact and something from Mojito and put them together, if that's what you wanted to do. Or you could just get like 2 from Mojito and pull them together, or 2 from Impact, or Impact and Presence if you wanted. If you really wanted to create like a different kind of blend and thus create a different texture and really make it sound a whole lot better. I need you to stop. I need you to stop. Come on. I'm trying to like talk about things. So yeah, they got a lot of stuff here that I didn't even know was even a thing. Cool. Like I said, these are brand new things for me, because I went and picked this up. What the heck? Is that the... Oh, okay, that's the connection banging against the tower. Okay. Yeah, so like I said, Studio One Prime doesn't... The only virtual instrument thing that it has is Presence, which is not a bad thing. You can still do drums and guitars and horns and wind instruments, string instruments. You can basically do a whole band thing just in there. But then there's like different patches, different samples and things and stuff like Mojito and Mai Tai. So then, yeah, if you want to do like EDM or whatever, then you can do it in here. I mean, hell, you can pretty much do almost anything as long as you know the right kind of patches and the right patches and crap, the word is on the tip of my tongue, and now I can't even damn it, I want to say it. I don't just want to leave it at that. I want to actually say it. Not variable, not crap. Well, that's, yeah, I hate that. But yeah, as long as you know the right things to mess with, then there you go. Alright, so let's see what attack keypad is. Okay, so if I want to do some electronic stuff, then this is my jam. We can definitely make this work here, especially with some of the other Warframe things I wanted to do. Like some of the more energetic ones are the ones that seem like they could be a little bit more digital or electronic. Then we could do some stuff with that. Funk Tower, play it for me. Granted, this is all what would be a drum patch, but you know, it's still those notes that then you can change to. Now, I'm not a musician, but I do have a bit of an ear. Yeah, so you could really get into like some dubstep and EDM shit with this. That's actually not bad. And I don't even do those. Like, my stuff is like metal, symphonic rock, and hard rock. Maybe some blues. That's where I stand. Like, but I'm willing to be flexible enough with it, and that's how it is when you're also an audio engineer. I mean, granted, some people specialize more in one field than the other, you know. So, but it helps to be flexible. It's like how you can have an engineer who doesn't just do recording, because that's the thing. Like, there's engineers that do recording, there's engineers that do mixing, and there's engineers that do mastering. Now, you can get all that done in one house, but it means that you'd have to pay 3 different people. Or you could pay the same person who is able to do all 3 for the entire process, and you know, that's all you know, some individual stuff right there, because people charge different rates and all. So yeah, but yeah. Some of these are meant to actually be done more like, they don't say pad, which is a different kind of thing. But yeah, when it comes to like synth stuff, then there's stuff like lead, pad, this, that, and the other. When it comes to like the actual like textures that are used within a synth. And there's also where stuff like attack and all that, and all these other factors can come in. But I definitely would say, you know, like, how hard you hit it or whatever. Yeah. Okay. Can't switch out of this one, can I? What? Wait a second. Huh. So there's so many things you can play with, or you could just use a preset. That's kind of cool. I like that. And if you kind of hate listening to the same thing over and over again, then yeah, being an audio engineer or whatever is probably not a good idea for a career path. Then you also have to have a sharp ear. You have to train your ears so you're able to distinguish different tones, different frequencies, and all. It's not something that you just get right there and then, unless, like, say you're a prodigy or something. I mean, it takes years. It takes practice. It takes time to really get into that mindset and develop those skills. I mean, it's doable. It's totally doable. Okay, so we mess with we mess with Mai Tai, right? It's time to mess with Mojito. I think we still have time. Did I show the thing? Oh no, I didn't. I'm sorry. This is a program. This is well, this is the thing that we're messing with. Yeah, that's the thing that I was just playing with. Okay, so now we're gonna click back on. Okay, so Mai Tai being your synth thing, and then you can pick like right there and then add the thing if that's what you wanted to do. Let's see, impacts, yeah, but where was the other one? Because there was Mojito. Which one was that? Oh, it's down here. Can you see that? Yeah, you can. I mean, that window is on top of it, but yeah. But either way, yeah, that's gonna get moved onto here. We're gonna replace it, and there we go. So now you guys should be able to see the new program that, well, the new virtual instrument that I'm about to mess with. It's still using it's playing, isn't it? Yeah, so this is Mojito. Okay, so then we're gonna go in here. Let's pick buzzing. And it's got an LFO here. That's low frequency oscillation or oscillator. Yeah, and then so yeah, you can mess with like the oscillation on things. What's oscillation? You know how there's those fans that move left and right? They sweep. That's what that is. I mean, I shouldn't give you guys that advice, but yeah, if you don't know what something is, play with the knobs. Just start turning stuff up, and then start turning stuff down. You know, like I said, you can turn it all the way up if you want it to start, but I'd say start inching it. You know, just nudging it. You know, tweaking it a little bit at a time to see just how much more drastic that can be, and give you an idea of, okay, so then we could do this, that, and the other. I might not even touch this this virtual instrument anymore. Like after this, I might not. I don't know. In fact, is there a way to pull it back up to its default state? I mean, you think that there would be. That's the thing for automation. That's the. Why are you not showing me things? Come on, do things. But it should be where it should be. Okay, and then, and then. Yeah, so I'm probably not gonna mess with one of these things. I don't know. Like, it's looking like I'm probably gonna not touch Mojito and Sample One. I also need to do some research into Sample One in the first place. But yeah, I am going to be messing with Impact. I'm definitely going to be messing with Presence, since that's going to be where most of my stuff is going to be. In fact, let's get into some other stuff then. Bloop. Replace. We still up front? Yes, we are. I need to change the names of some of the scenes in OBS too, so I can keep track of what is what. So then artist instruments, and then we're gonna go to guitar, and we're gonna click full strat, and then we're gonna hit play. Okay, so it's not going to give you everything. Now, that's the thing. Studio One also comes with its own amp modeling software, their own native amp modeling software. For those of you familiar with Line 6 and Pod Farm, yeah, okay. It's kind of sort of like that. Sort of. We'll get into that once we start messing with guitars. Not to mention, I need to kind of get mine worked on. I need to buy new strings for my Wilshire, because those are old and corroded and they're done. Like, the thing doesn't, the action is wrong, it doesn't feel proper, and just, not to mention, just corroded strings and like and all that. It just does not feel nice. Like, they've oxidized. That's what it is. I don't know what kind of strings were on there that the previous owner had, but yeah, I'm gonna put some Ernie balls on that sucker. Yeah, it'll be better. Like the ones I have on my bass, I got put on there like 12 years ago. Those suckers are still holding up. Like, they're still shiny and every damn thing. Granted, I need to replace those too. I need to get the whole thing refurbished, or at least, cleaned up, because I mean, that's an old bass too. It's so old. I didn't even know until I started doing research. Yeah. So, because this ain't gonna cut it, but it will be like the basis, because there's a thing that you can do where then it's not exactly how it was with Pro Tools, where I could then just, like, maybe it is, I don't know, I haven't messed with inserts and sends and stuff yet. What are those? Oh man, that's where the fun is, where then you start routing things in and seeing how they work. So then, if you don't want to directly affect the thing that you're messing with, like this, and I wanted to put it on like a reverb or something, like I wanted to put reverb on it, but I didn't really want to do anything too much, or I wanted to use it with multiple things, then I could put a send on these, or a bus, and then I could, like, let's see, add bus channel, and then I could click on this, and then I could affect how much of that audio or whatever is being sent, how much of this signal is being fed into another channel. This is what I was talking about before, when I hit play and you couldn't hear anything while I was messing with Impact. Yeah, so then you have to set up where that's going to go in, otherwise you're not going to get your reverb. So then you have to set up your reverb on like an effects track, I think, or something like that, and then you can run it through, and then you'll get your reverb and it'll affect everything that's on a send. You can even share a send, I think. It creates a lot more busy work for the computer, which is why I would advise getting a computer with as much kick-ass processing power as you can get and as much RAM as you can afford if you're going to do this. 16 is good enough, but hey, if you can go 32, do it. Granted, I mean, if you're just doing like some basic stuff, or you're doing something like, say, Jonathan Young, FanJules 7X, Artificial Fear, like how they do covers and stuff. You don't need like 32 gigs of RAM unless you're using some very, very high-end, high process intensive things that need that much RAM in order to accommodate for the workload. That's the main reason why I jumped off Pro Tools, because what they use is something called Real-Time Audio Suite for like basic plugins at first. Basic Effects would use that. Then Pro Tools also had something for their HD version that was called TDM, Time Division Multiplexing. This was like their own, I believe this was their native format for effects. And that used like these specific cards that you would put in the computer. You know how you have like your graphics card, or like how you'd have like, say, a modem card or whatever, or like a Wi-Fi card or any of that you'd have to install into the motherboard in the, and then it's got the port in the back of the case. Yeah. So they had stuff like that. There was the core card, which was the base, and then there were Excel cards, which acted kind of like a booster pack and like a trading card thing or whatever. So then that would kind of like amp that up and give you more room to work with and process more. Yeah, eventually they like phased that crap out and went in another direction with their AAX plugins, and like that's a whole new freaking ball game right there. I haven't done research into it because I don't give a shit, because I'm done with Avid. Like they just sat on their asses counting their money while competitors started developing things and showed up out of the blue and ended up snatching them up, especially with how okay, I'm not going to get into detail. I kind of already sort of did in a rant video, but needless to say, they don't really care. They just care about the money that they're raking in by being the industry standard, except for the fact that because you guys aren't really doing much to innovate and build up off of that, you're just sitting there scratching your bellies and counting your money and smoking your cigars and lighting up off $100 bills and shit. Other people have come along and they're doing things that you haven't even touched base on, like some of the most simplest stuff. Like what was it, like there was some sort of floating bit processing or something. I can't remember what it was, but Pro Tools hadn't touched base on that for a while, until after the fact, after like a competitor came up. I mean, seriously, other people use Reaper, other people started using Studio One now, there are people running FL Studio, there are people running Logic. There's all sorts of things. It doesn't really matter which one you use, as long as you have a basic understanding of what your program is, how it works, and how audio engineering works. You don't have to be a professional. You don't have to have had 20 years in the business in order to be able to do stuff. At this point in time, all of this stuff has become so much more easier to use and is at a very, very fair entry fee in order to get started. Like seriously, like this program right here, this version of it, which is the standard version, is only $100. I got it around holiday time where it was on sale, Black Friday sale, 50% off, $50, about $49.99. Bam, got access to it, and I have all this shit that I just showed you, like this whole stream, all of that, just on hand, ready to go. Oh, I'm sorry, I did not see that. Yo, what's up, Kara? Oh, thanks for the host. So, yeah, we're just about done here. I'm just kind of going on like a mini rant here. See, this is why I really need to get more used to this, so I can kind of get everything arranged and laid out, so I can see chat, I can see all this other stuff going on. But this is the basis. This is how you, I mean, it's amazing, dude. You have so many people coming up and just like putting stuff out on SoundCloud, Reverb Nation, whatever you can name, really. So many new artists that are just producing these tracks out of their bedrooms or out of a closet, and all they went and did was bought like some okay speakers, like a $100 audio program, even just a pre-built computer, and maybe like some foam, and then just put that in their closet, like on a wall. Like maybe bought like some plywood and maybe like created a stand or whatever and put it on that, and then boom, and now they're just doing this, and then trial and error. You learn from your mistakes. That's what happened with what I did after the first stream Tuesday, and nobody could hear anything. Now, shoot, now we got this, and it's freaking beautiful. In fact, I wonder. Yeah, I thought that was gonna happen, because Presence is still back at like whatever the heck that was. And now you guys can actually hear this and know what it is that I'm doing, because I'm messing with settings. I'm sitting there tweaking with things, playing with knobs, playing with sliders and faders and everything, and you guys couldn't hear none of that. And I'm sitting there explaining the whole thing, and it's a good thing I decided to check OBS so I could see if you guys could even see the little window that I had pulled up, because dang, man. I'm sitting there like highlighting it and like moving my mouse and circling things, and it's like, what the heck is that? What is he talking about? I don't see anything. My bad. That's why it's a good idea for me to pay attention to chat, except for the fact that chat is not visible to me. Like, I have Studio One almost in full screen. It's still in window mode, but I don't have it maximized. But yeah. So all that said, we're approaching 2 hours. That's about my cutoff time for this. I mean, yeah, I could go longer, but I don't want to really start messing with stuff just yet. I want to do the Excalibur track maybe Saturday, if not next Tuesday. So we'll start on that, and we'll go in order. Why the heck I started with drums first for this? Because it was simpler, and I had samples and stuff already ready to go. And then I also covered how we get our tracks together, how we create an area to then start writing our music, and yeah. So now we're going to take from that, and then we're going to move on to the next thing. So then composition is going to be the next thing, I guess. I don't know, but we're going to start breaking things up, because when it actually comes time to really start messing with guitars, and I can't play guitar to save my life yet, then I'll run through the amp modeler that I was talking about, which should be, where the heck is it? I forgot what it's called. It's not a tone generator. It's not that. 'Cause they have it. It's just I don't remember where it is. Because these are all my additional effects. It's not a, yeah. So then we can run that and do some really cool stuff with it. Balls. Yeah. But then we can get in there and we can do some stuff. Man, I could have swore that it came with this for free. Great. Now I feel like an idiot. Input filter, favorites. Alright, now I can actually pick favorites. Right. So I can have like a whole bunch of presets. And in all honesty, that's another thing that I forgot to bring up. Yeah, you can set up presets, and you can even set up templates. So if there's a specific setup that you had for composing drums, then go ahead and do that. So how I'm going to end up doing this is I'm going to basically do the sections individually, and then what I'll do is I'll like import later. So this will be its own session, and then when I move on to like bass and rhythm guitar, then those will be their separate session. And all I'll do is I'll just grab like, say, this like a composite drum file, and then I'll like copy and paste it, or I'll export it out. I need to do some reading again so I can remember how to actually export this, because then it'll actually be saved inside the folder. It's not done like that right now. I have to export it in order to do it, and it's a little bit more weird with how it's supposed to do, but yeah. So then we'll, oh, there's a thing here. Cool. Explode pitches to tracks, remove part automate. Hang on, let's click this. Did it do it as like another thing, or is it what? Because what? Okay, and I feel like an idiot. But yeah, but there is a way to like turn this into an actual audio performance, you know, the little wavy lines, and then you can mess with that as actual audio instead of it just being MIDI, and then you have to like do stuff with that. So yeah, it's weird, but you know, it works, and it'll end up kind of saving you some time, just like setting up templates and all that, because I've got like stuff like that, and then I can just pull and import and all. If you have Studio One Prime, it's not going to allow you to open those templates, because, well, that's just how they do. They don't want you to be able to pull that kind of crap. But knowing this kind of stuff will help you establish a workflow. This way, then you won't have to chase your tail trying to figure out, okay, so what do I do with this? How do I do this, that, and the other? Nope. Now all of this will already be ready. You'll know what to do. Having templates helps. Having presets for things also helps. It's like once I start getting my guitar tones down, then that'll be something else, and that'll be cool. Let's see. Files, cloud, browsers, pools, files using the song, loops. Oh right, I forgot they do have loops too. And then I can yeah, so I have like little samples here as well within the, yeah, because not only do you get to download the virtual instrument packs, but then you also get a sample pack that you can download. So yeah, make sure that you have a hard drive that has plenty of space. Get yourself like a 1 or 2 terabyte hard drive. They're not very expensive, unless you know you're broke as hell. But hey, you know, should save your money, or hopefully, you know, maybe you get some sort of good fortune come to you, and boom, there you go, you're good. I mean, that's what happened with me. That's why I have what I've got now, and I'm very grateful for it. But yeah. So when it comes to like saving as a template, let's see, do we still have the thing? Alright, so then we'll click, and then we'll like save as template, and then audio streams drums, and then you could like give it a proper description here. You can even choose a kind of icon, and then you could like just, and then hit OK, and then it'll save it in your Studio One folder or wherever you have it saved. For me, I don't have it saved on my SSD. It's on my storage drive because, well, I'm not gonna lie to you, when you're messing with raw audio files like WAV files, WAV format, that stuff gets big. The longer you're recording for, the bigger that file size is going to be. Now, Not only that, not only the length, but then the quality, the format. Because then if you're using a FLAC file, an FLAC, oh hell, that's going to be even bigger. There's a reason why we used to compress down to MP3s. And then I gotta learn all that crap now too. Because I will actually produce MP3s and FLAC files for you guys when all this stuff starts getting done. So this is how we're messing around. I do kind of want to do this step by step, in sessions, but I might end up just doing some things on their own and then come back to it and show you guys like, okay, so you heard this song and now let's take a look at how it actually came to be. Let's look at the parts, and then I open it up and then it looks something similar to this, but it's like all sorts of different tracks instead of just in one note. Instead of one track, it's like all of these and they all have like their own different things, and it's all sorts of effects and crazy crap on it. It's like, what the heck is this? But that's the thing, yeah, all this stuff looks scary at first, but once you take the time to play with it and learn what it is and how they work together, you see what a well-oiled machine this stuff is once you get the structure down. Because yeah, there's all these things on here. No, you don't necessarily need to mess with all of these little tools and things like this. You can, in fact, I mean, shit, you can customize this however it is that you want it to be, so you can have things in a way that you feel comfortable, so you can do what you do. It's amazing. And the more I use this, the more comfortable I'll be with Studio One, and I'll be able to memorize my shortcuts. Because I remember Shift Command N, or I believe what is it, Control Shift N here, is how to add tracks. It was Shift Command N on Apple with Pro Tools, but see, so stuff like that, and then bam, like stuff like this, and then boom, we can like pull that up, we can pull this up, just like really cool things like that. And then boom, I don't have to go looking, I don't have to like click this menu to bring this up, I just know what it is, and then just boom 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 boom. Watch, you're gonna see me start doing stuff like that, and it's gonna be like, how are you doing that? That's why I'm doing it now, so that you can see this is how we start. So that'll do it for today's session. Next session should be Saturday. I'm not sure when, and we are over time, but that's totally fine. So this is what happens. I start rambling when I don't have things to do. But yeah, Saturday, I think afternoon. I don't know, maybe between 3 and 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. I don't know, it's usually when I end up getting up, or I'm in the zone to do audio. Although I usually do audio stuff late at night, and I do stuff with headphones on. I have speakers sitting right in front of me, and they're better for this kind of thing. So when it comes to like the final things, I'll be using those, but I won't be using them on stream because then I'm going to create feedback. But yeah, anyway, I'm rambling. Long story short, next stream should be Saturday between 3 to 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. Thank you guys for checking this out. Be sure to also follow if you want more. Turn on those notifications so you can see when we go live. I'm also on Twitter at VanTX89. I'll try and tweet when I go live. So yeah, just we're going to try and make this a regular thing. So you all have a pleasant day, night, morning, afternoon, whatever. Thank you for watching, and I will see you Saturday for the next stream. You guys have a good one.